Hey guys, it's Brendan, Jason, and Toby here in the Heartbreaker Lounge at Heartbreaker Guitars Las Vegas, and today we got something super cool from Furch Guitars. Not bad, Jace.
Nice.
So today we're talking about the Backstage Edition, Limited Edition Furch GNc nylon string Cocobolo guitars. Jace, okay, so before we dive into these two guitars, one with Alpine, one with Cedar, over Cocobolo, I just want to give you a quick background on how this project kind of came about, okay? So we decided to build 10 limited guitars, kind of commemorating this event that went down a couple years ago in the Czech Republic called Backstage. And what it was is where the Furch folks invited all the dealers and some customers and some influencers out to visit the Czech Republic, tour the factory, and kind of really get an understanding of Furch guitars, how they're built, how they're voiced, and also taking some of the culture from the Czech Republic, which is an amazing place to visit. And in getting with the management and with Petr Furch, we had this idea to come up with a commemorative edition of a guitar that would kind of, just mark that time when everybody got together and we had such a great time in the Czech Republic. So anyway, we came up with these. Took a year and a half, Jace. Cedar, Alpine spruce over, get ready for it. That's Cocobolo. And these things are beautiful. Now, mind you, Cocobolo hasn't been that easy to get lately. It's also one of the reasons why we had to wait a year and a half for these things, Jace. So anyway, guys, so that's the basic background. Let's jump right in with some sound samples. Let me hear some more of that Cedar, Jace.
All right.
Sounds really nice and warm, Jace. Sometimes Cedar can be a little bit too warm, but that sounds just about right to me.
Well, I think the pairing of Cedar with Cocobolo is kind of the perfect counterbalance, because Cocobolo has a lot of life and airiness and sustain and string definition to it. So I think pairing that with something that gives a nice warm overlay gives it a, overall very well-rounded sound. So.
Totally agreed. Now, we did offer, as you know, this guitar with an Alpine top as well. And I think this is for the folks that maybe want just a little bit more brightness, a little bit more spank.
Yeah, a little more punchiness in the higher end, yeah.
There you go. So with that, can we play something similar on this one?
Absolutely.
Let's do it. So now I definitely picked up on just a little bit more of that, like we talked about, a little bit more of that vibrance, that spank that Alpine can sometimes provide.
Right.
And I think it's a really nice contrast because they still sound great and they sound similar, but they're different.
And let's do the E chord test. So just give me a big E chord there.
Just an open thumb?
Yeah.
Here, let me make sure I'm seated the same way you are.
I hear it now. Now try it with the fingernail.
What do you guys think? Spruce or the cedar with a Cocobolo? Anyway, Jace, let's jump into the specs a little bit more on these guitars.
Absolutely.
Okay, so based on the GNc design from Furch Guitars, this is considered a crossover nylon string guitar. So what's a crossover? Crossover just basically means for people that want to play a classical guitar but don't want to deal with some of the things that are inherent with a classical, like big baseball neck, big wide nut width. This is actually built for the acoustic guitar player that wants to dabble in nylon string tones. So hence you've got a 1 3/4 inch nut width, which is what you normally see on a lot of regular acoustics, right? The neck profile and the shape is really comfortable, and if you know Furch guitars, it's going to feel just like right at home. So ebony board, again, this is cedar. Jace, you got the spruce.
Yep.
Now we got a Cocobolo bridge on both of these. Yours on that Alpine is really popping, man.
Yeah,
That's
it's
a nice
really
one.
gorgeous. Yeah.
We've got an abalone rosette here, ivory binding throughout, and let's move to the back. Obviously, we got that stunning Cocobolo. Jay, talk a little bit about why Cocobolo works so well with nylon string as opposed to steel.
Well, some of the things that I sort of said earlier, you know, it gives you a lot of, it breathes a lot of life into the sound of the guitar. There's a lot of really noteworthy sustain and clarity that you get with Cocobolo. Obviously, it's, you know, from a more kind of visual perspective, it's got just this gorgeous, exotic sort of grain to it. And that's, you know, one of the many added benefits. But yeah, I think that sustain and clarity really make all the difference when you're dealing with a much warmer instrument, because nylon strings, you know, typically they're much warmer than your average steel string, really more oriented towards the lower mid frequency than anything else. And the Cocobolo just gives it this sort of like nice shimmer on it, and lets it hang really nicely as well. So if we just really nice sustain on there. So
yeah, nylon string's not known for their sustain because the notes are more muted and they die quicker, but man, you've got some good expression and vibrance coming out of these guitars that you know, are sometimes hard to achieve with a nylon, because again, nylons are just, you know, they're just muted. They're not as alive as a steel string guitar, you know?
Yeah, and I think the Cocobolo back and sides just really gives it that extra kind of oomph to it, and also makes them look fantastic as well. Obviously paired with the headstock overlay made of Cocobolo, and the bridge, which is also Cocobolo on these. And one thing that I really like about the cedar versions too, that I didn't know about until they got here, was the ivory binding. It really kind of
pops.
Yeah, it really pops and sort of highlights that nice kind of orange color of the top woods.
If you look at them kind of side by side, that one has a tortoise binding.
Tortoise.
So yeah, this one, it really pairs nicely with the color of the cedar, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Yeah, I think they made a great call there.
Yeah. Okay, let's talk price. $39.95 for a boutique small bench luthier like Furch Guitars, handmade instruments. I think to be able to offer this guitar for $39.95, they hit it out of the park, Jay.
Yeah.
Cocobolo is getting almost expensive as Brazilian rosewood these days. And it's just harder and harder to get. And it's not just Furch, it's other builders that have been telling us the same thing, that Cocobolo has just been, it's been more and more difficult to get,
right,
which sends the price up. So. All right, Jay, so with that, let's hear a couple more sound samples.
Okay, so I'll do something on this one here, and then you can pass me that one, and I'll just kind of do the same thing so we have a direct comparison. So. Yep.
Okay, Jay, so you played them both, and we want to know what you think out there as well, but what's your opinion, spruce versus cedar?
Well, between the two, I think I prefer the cedar. Both, you know, subjectively on a visual standpoint, I just kind of like the more,
look,
the look, the orange top with the white binding and all that. But also just, you know, personally for the way that I play, it provides a little bit of extra warmth, a little bit of extra bassiness to it. And obviously I like the Alpine spruce one as well, but I think I'm just more of a kind of lower mid-range guy than more of a higher mid-range guy. So
yeah, and you know, you play, a lot of times you play percussively, and I think the cedar really brings that out nicely.
Yeah.
So, I actually like the Alpine, I do. Now, I'm not sure if it's coming across in the camera, but Alpine spruce is almost white. I mean, it's really a light color. It's beautiful. There's not a lot of grain to it. It's just a beautiful sounding soundboard on a regular acoustic or a nylon. I think it's amazing. But in terms of the looks, the appearance, that cedar does look pretty beautiful.
It does look great, and you know, outlined by the Ivoroid binding, I think was a great choice. So
yeah. Okay, so Jay, we got 10 in stock. Well, we had 10 in stock. These just came in. 3 of them are already gone, but we still got more cedars, more Alpines. So do take advantage of this limited edition guitar. You can't buy these from anywhere else, any other dealer. You can't even buy them from Furch.
Yes.
It's not even on the configurator.
Yeah, these are only available through heartbreakerguitars.com.
Yes. So anyway, well, with that, any final comments, Jay?
I mean, well, you know, props to Furch. They have consistently made one of my favorite, you know, nylon string guitars since I found out about them, and I think this is a great way to kind of, you know, push that forward a little bit, because for a while they have only, you know, been doing kind of the classic combinations with, you know, cedar tops or Sitka tops, and then, you know, rosewood back inside. So it's really interesting seeing them kind of experiment with different tone woods on these models, and I know they're doing that with, you know, the Little Janes and a couple of other guitars as well. So it'll be fascinating to see how it moves forward.
Yeah, I think this is going to be happening more and more with Furch guitars, with different models, not just with the nylons. So we'll see. Anyway, guys, that about does it for the limited edition GNc Backstage Edition guitars. My name's Brendan Smith. That's Jason Kurtzen. This is Toby the Beagle down here snoring. And we want to thank you guys for watching us. Thanks for supporting our channel. And if you have any questions about this Furch or any Furch in the shop, just give us a call here at the shop. Thanks for watching, guys. See you next time.